All right. Hi, everybody. Already having a good time. And you can see severed hand in the back, not so severed. Welcome to the first NEC Live Learn, first NEC Live Learn stream. So the whole point is that in addition to my chair making too much noise, which I'll fix later, we are using the full capabilities of New England Conservatory, where I work and where my guest works, to try to educate musicians and people who aren't quite musicians yet, or maybe they don't even know they're musicians, to the best of our ability. So today we're going to try to assist all the guitarists out there and entrepreneurs and record producers and composers, because I have one guest. His name is Aaron Larget-Caplan, who is all of those things and so much more. So I'm gonna press buttons and we're just gonna dive in. So let's make sure this works. Does this work? There you are. Oh, you're on your phone. There you are. Already on your phone.
Well, I got to tell everyone what we're doing, you know.
Okay, good, good. Meanwhile, I'm making sure the chat where, you know, nobody knows we exist. So it's okay. Just checking. I'm not so used to all of these various devices.
You have so many screens.
I have 3 screens up and none of them are giving me the information I want. I guess I could pull up the, I have this, the Twitch stream manager, and I don't know what good it's going to do me. I have no idea. So I'll just put it here and it can manage from over there. So we're, thanks for coming in.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I appreciate it.
I love talking to you. We have a good time.
I hope so. We got lights, we got bright lights, we got all the cameras in the world, and you have a guitar,
Yes,
microphone. We got you in a room with this creepy dude right over your shoulder playing clarinet with there's like an eye, all-seeing eye behind you. So I kind of want to dive on in. I want people to know who you are by first as an artist. So you were gonna play something for us. Do you mind telling us about it before you play, or just telling us what is this piece? Who wrote it?
cool. Yes, my name's Aaron Larget-Caplan, and I'm going to play you a piece called Honey Cadence. This is a piece written by me. I wrote this in 2022, early 22. It is the title track of an EP that came out later that year. And kind of little meditations was the thought process. I play a lot of contemporary lullabies and John Cage. So when looking for inspiration, I thought, well, I play the most beautiful instrument in the world. And you know, I tend
Debatable.
to well, you know,
Debatable.
Of course.
Have you heard the hurdy-gurdy? The hurdy-gurdy is like all about
heartbreaking. You know, that's it.
Breaking something.
It is. And also I wanted a piece that explored the colors of the guitar, the different aspects of it that my students could play, or not just top tier guitarists could play. And so I wrote this piece. The word there is no cadence called a honey cadence, but the piece ended on a really sweet ending, and I thought, oh, that's so sweet. It's like honey. And so that's where I got the title, Honey Cadence.
Nice. So. Well, I'm gonna put you into our performance camera and lose the lav mic so they can't hear us talk, and hopefully my Chrome Dome. Well, I gotta turn on your guitar mic. Can you play? Oh yeah, that sounds good. All right, I'm gonna stop talking and just listen for a bit. Honey Cadence, and you wrote this, Aaron Larget-Caplan, yes. Honey Cadence. that your version of a bow? Is the hand? Yeah.
Hat on, hat off, or something along those lines. Yes.
Well, JJ, Jaden in the chat says that the miking sounds very good, but also that you sound great.
Thank you.
So I hope
Thank you,
you're-
JJ.
Yeah. Thanks for weighing in on that. I was kind of hoping that our chat. Let me check this. I adjusted the chat so it would show up on screen. Oh, there it is. It is so tiny. It's so tiny. I'll make it a little bit bigger. I hope you can all be okay with that. It's not sticking around for long. But okay, so Honey Cadence.
Yes.
I gotta do something about this chair at some point. Honey Cadence. You told us why it was named Honey Cadence.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently you're trying to lead us all to diabetes. Why did you write this piece?
At the end of 2021, I had put out an album, and I was talking with a producer, and he said, why don't you write your own music? And I had been arranging music since I was at conservatory, taking music written for one instrument or instruments and putting it on guitar or a chamber ensemble. And I kind of went, I don't write music, I arrange music. And I caught myself like, that was kind of pathetic how quickly I said no. And I said, well, wait a sec. I don't like the fact that I said no so quickly. And so I talked to the producer and I said, give me a week. And over that week, I wrote 4 of the 6 pieces. In 2 weeks, I wrote 6 pieces and about 26 minutes of music. 2 weeks later, I recorded it. And it was just part of how the streaming system works is unlike terrestrial recordings, which is radio, the performer gets a chunk, the publisher gets a chunk, and the label gets a chunk of the royalty, the payment.
Okay.
And on radio, the performer doesn't get anything. So Frank Sinatra, if he didn't write the song, he never got paid when his music was on the radio. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so
royalties,
mechanical rights. I think it's meant to be shady for reasons, but there's books about that.
Okay.
And so I wrote these pieces, not knowing who would listen to them. Maybe my mom, who doesn't really stream, so I don't know. And then the album came out. And I joined the American Composers Alliance, with whom I'd worked with a few times, based in New York. A wonderful group of composers it's a nonprofit publishing house, basically, but research, publishing, concerts, articles.
Yeah.
And they agreed to publish the collection, and I didn't think much of it. And then about 6 months later, after it had come out, it just got picked up on different streaming services. 3 of the tracks, especially Honey Cadence, Moving Still, and Sweet Nuance. No, not Sweet Nuance.
And you wrote this
it was just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had some supporters who were interested, who are longtime supporters, and they were like, yeah, please write stuff. And that was it. I really didn't think much of it. And then it opened a door, an artistic door that I had never really explored, other than playing buttloads of contemporary music.
That's a technical term.
Buttloads.
You told me something yesterday. You were saying that you wrote this so you wanted your students to be able to play something.
So of the 6 pieces on the album, or in the collection, this piece is very approachable, in the sense it's A minor, the greatest of guitar keys. It's our A minor arpeggio, lots of repetition. The form is kind of A, B, C,
so
A.
Not too complicated.
Yes.
Technically, I mean that A minor.
Right. Yeah. And then like the tremolo section. The tremolo, what is tremolo?
What the hell is a tremolo?
Tremolo is repeated notes. So if you hear a note that's repeated So the guitar does not have sustain. And so in lieu of sustain, we play really fast.
Okay.
That's
okay.
just up and down.
Yeah.
Violin does this, or string instruments, they just go really quickly back and forth on the instrument. Piano, when they have like a chord, they go back and forth, or they'll do this kind of jiggle thing. I don't know if that's the term.
Jiggle.
Yeah. So I put the tremolo on the first string, which is very typical of Spanish music, because it's a little easier to play. You're not going to hit the other strings, and so you can learn. It's a nice introduction to tremolo.
Yeah.
And then the harmonies repeat. That's the arpeggio, but the tremolo.
Is it an etude? Like, is it a study? Did you write it so you're like, I want my students to be able to study these techniques or this musical idea, or were you just, or perhaps, or you were thinking, I'm going to write a piece that
I wanted to
students.
write a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
And at one point, I definitely made a choice. I could go this direction or that direction, this direction or that direction, and the direction I chose was, oh wait, I want this to be approachable, and so, yeah.
All right. Well, that makes perfect sense to me. That gets me kind of deeper into teaching, because I know you from many decades ago, but we kind of reconnected because I'm the director of adult education at New England Conservatory, and you know this, but they don't know this. And I wanted to, we needed a new guitar teacher, and you exist, and you're a very, very busy and prolific performer. And I also knew that you taught a lot. And we've been lucky enough that you're now starting your second year of teaching for us. Yeah. And just for us, before this, you have taught many other places. Boston Conservatory, UMass, University of Massachusetts. Yeah. So you've been teaching so long. Do you find that those who can do, those who can't teach? You've heard that before.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a, does that work for you? Is that a thing? I might as well
I have to pull the
who
foot
you
out
voted
of my
for
mouth
president.
Before. Yeah. I think there are different types of teachers. There are, and not every teacher is good for every person. My main teacher, Dmitry Goryachev, didn't teach at the conservatory, and I met him after conservatory.
Okay, so you went to conservatory for like your bachelor's degree,
yes.
your first 4-year degree.
So I started classical at 16. I had played electric guitar before that.
I see. Playing like, what kinds of stuff were you
Led
playing?
Zeppelin, Hendrix, Ozzy, classic rock.
R.I.P. Ozzy.
Yeah. And then when I was 16, in my Spanish class in Denver, Colorado, I saw a video of Andres Segovia, and he was playing Asturias by Itzhak Albeniz, and the Doors, Robbie Krieger, used that theme in Spanish Caravan. And I
had no idea.
Yeah, see? Mm-hmm. And I didn't pay attention in Spanish, I was just a middle-class kid just trying to get through school.
Not bueno.
And, but after that, I started paying attention, because I was like, wait, that's the original. I didn't even know it was a piano piece. And I took my guitar pick, stuck it in between two fingers, my pinky and third, and would sit there and try and figure out how to do this. And then I had tabs, found a teacher who was like, that's Randy Rhoads of Ozzy, this is Bach. And, bless his heart, he would read Hemingway to me and say, you need to be as colorful as that.
Okay, I know I'm jumping around, but if you started with Ozzy and Zeppelin, do do you still play that stuff? Do you still teach
A
that
little
stuff?
bit. I don't really teach it now. I mean, there's better people who can do it. I don't own an electric guitar anymore. I sold my old electrics. This is the only instrument I play. I'm not a big distortion fan, but
Okay.
I still listen to it, especially when I'm driving. You know, it just keeps me
Yeah.
awake. I still use like the pitch bends. That's Clapton.
Sorry, I'm going to ask
Yeah.
Tom. Tom Silver was asking, any way to move closer to the mics? We're having difficulty hearing both of us.
Oh.
Right now, you're having a hard time hearing both of us. Can you talk, Aaron?
Yeah,
looking
I'm
at the...
here. I'm here. Hello. Hello. Hello.
All right. The levels look pretty good, Tom. Is there one of us that's not as loud as the other? I also have the actual guitar mics that I turn on and off depending on whether he's playing. Any more information you could give us, Tom, would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate you speaking up about it.
Hi, Tom.
And of course, please ask questions. Any questions from Aaron? That's what he's here for. Anything you want to learn, and just take us off on a tangent. But wait, are you? So you're not playing any of that Zeppelin or Ozzy. You're not hitting the clubs. You're not out drinking all hours of the night and throwing TVs off of balconies.
Correct.
But I seem to remember that you are sneaking into a little bit of that for upcoming albums, or are we allowed to talk about it?
A little bit. I can say that my next album, which will be out later this year, well, fully out in 2026, includes a couple of the early influences. So there's a tune of Paul Simon that I arranged. There's an Eddie Van Halen tune. Those are probably the most pop rock oriented.
I mean, Van Halen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do all the tapping. It doesn't, on an acoustic instrument, it can't, I've seen a couple people who can make it work, but look, it's built for that.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of classical instruments, classical groups play Led Zeppelin or play rock music. And to me, I'm like, I'd rather hear rock music. Like, it doesn't do it for me as someone who grew up. I think there's different ways of listening, and texture is so important to me that hearing a violin hit a note for note solo of Jimmy Page, it's neat, but I'd rather hear it on, I'd rather hear Les Paul or, you know.
I wonder, I think there's a Hank Hill quote, something about like Christian rock ruins both.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think, I'm sure I'm paraphrasing.
It doesn't make any sense. It's oxymoron to say Christian rock.
Yeah.
Because rock, by its nature, is not supposed to.
It's the other. It's fighting. It's always fighting against.
Maybe that's why rock died. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Tom, is this any better? Please let us know, or anybody else, please let us know. It's a little tricky to see who's on with all of these screens, who's here, but we'd love to make sure that we are being heard properly, that the audio is there. We don't want you guys to be straining. So you're playing a lot of classical music. You were talking about, I derailed you when you were talking about teachers.
Yeah.
What kinds of teachers are you? What kind of teacher are you? Yeah.
Very hands-on. I try to be, in the safe way, with permissions, of course.
Great.
And I mean that more when I approach. There's different types of students, and every student is in a different place. So most of my experience of teaching is taking someone who is either coming from it as a beginner or from electric guitar, metal, rock, and they want to play classical, or to someone who's played for 30, 40 years but never quite got over the hump of mastery. And so I try and work with all of them in the places they come in. I've had some amazingly talented students who are you say something and they do it. That's wonderful. I'm very proud of that and the life they've created. But I have also, because I came to the instrument later, I have a different experience than someone who's grew up playing the instrument. So I understand hand injuries. I understand dealing with coordination. And so I'm always looking at ways to fix things. So hands-on is I give tons of stretches to my students.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into that because the whole purpose of this is teaching. Can you give us some stretches that are...
Yeah, I mean, these are it's different for everyone. My wife, Catherine, is amazing. She does body work, and so these are mainly hers.
Catherine, are you watching? Say hello in the chat if you are, please. Welcome.
I don't know if she'll know how to do that, but...
No? Oh,
no.
Okay. You're welcome to say chat, or you can just say it into the ether. If my mom's watching, it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Bush.
She loves some good talk about stretches. So, all right, so hand stretches for a guitarist, what's the purpose of these?
Well, for all humans, but for guitar, everything we do is into the hand. And so we're always grabbing the hand.
As opposed to like this.
Right.
You're not...
So a lot of what I try and do is we want to create suppleness and strength. So they're all isometric stretches, meaning you use your own your own body as resistance. I'm not telling you to lift weights. I don't have balls that you squeeze or hand things. I don't like those.
Okay. So you're using body weight, body resistance, your resistance of your... Okay.
So with our breath, we always want to be sitting up straight. One that I like to start with is you put your hands together and you aim at you say namaste, aim at yourself. You put your fingers aimed at yourself. So you have to sit up straight, no slouching.
Oh, God.
Oh, wait, listen to the back. Listen to his back. And then you separate your palm. And so your fingers are still touching.
Okay.
And then you rotate away from you. So your pinky is pushing against the pinky, your third against the third, your second against second.
I really feel that in the...
First. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I really feel that in the tendons.
Yeah. And your palm should be separated. And your thumb should end up pointing at you. So
Wait, all right, so we're starting like this.
And then you separate the palms.
Separate.
And you're now pushing each finger on each other.
Where did you learn this?
My wife, Catherine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then you end with your thumb pointing at you, not at this. You see how you can roll your thumb?
Terrible stuff.
I know.
Oh, okay, but you're keeping them wide. So what is this? I felt this go through my forearm all the way into my armpits.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know about my armpits.
I feel it in my neck when I do it often. This is just, again, it's like pulling your fingers back. Everyone does this, but that's not grounded or planted. And so here, you're literally pushing your pinky against your pinky, your third against your third, your second against second. And this, for pianists, these are the wrong numbers. Sorry.
Tom Silver says hi.
Hey, Tom.
Tom, do you know Tom?
I do know Tom.
Oh, okay, great. But Tom, can you hear Aaron properly now? That's the most important thing. We need for you to be able to hear him. And thank you for chatting. I'm sorry.
So I call this the starfish.
Okay.
We remember things when we have images. So again, aim at yourself, shoulders down, separate the palms, push on the pinky, push on the third as you rotate around, and end with the thumb pointing at you. And you keep going, aim at the computer, and then you end up with this with your thumb. And you can push it. You can feel that stretch in here.
Yeah. Okay. So I have to tell you, these are not hand stretches only.
No.
I felt that here.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool.
We don't, even when we play guitar, people will be like, oh, my fingers. It's not your fingers. It's the whole body. It's grounded, how we're sitting, how we're breathing, if we're shoulders up, if our other shoulders down, are we leaning to one side? All of that plays a difference in how the body functions, which makes a difference in our music. We want to get out of the way so the music can flow through us, however spiritual thing you want to call that, and we do that by being the best conduit. That means technique, that means knowledge and study, that means preparation, practice, and hopefully all of those things come together at the right time, good sleep, good diet, all that. So when we're on stage, it blossoms. When that happens, there are some traditions that call that rasa. You can hit a state of nirvana. In other traditions, we say electricity. Oh my God, it was an electric performance tonight. That's when everything, audience, performer, everything is together. Or we call those little geniuses, you know, the kids that can do it, but they don't have injuries. I came from sports.
You came from sports.
Yes, I played
I come
sports.
from sports.
I grew up in Colorado. I was skiing. I had older siblings, so I was thrown around the room. And then I played rugby, and I had to learn and heal how these things to work to add it to the guitar. When you grow up playing something, just like a language, it's not that you're doing it better, it's that you just grew up with it so you can make it work. And so if your teacher has played since they were 4 years old, that's great, but unless they had some kind of hurdle to go through, they're not always the best teachers.
So you then had some hurdles?
I don't want to overdo it, but I wasn't on the totem pole when I was a student here. I was a beginner, and
here being New England Conservatory,
yes, sorry,
which
New
is a
England
school
Conservatory.
that's just musicians come to
Yes.
study classical music, study jazz, what they're calling contemporary musical arts, songwriting, these kinds of things. So you were not the best guitarist when you got
No, I mean I started really to learn to read music when I was 16. Much later than many of my contemporaries.
So like 2 years later, you were in a music school. That actually seems to me to be like a pretty quick ramp up.
Yeah, I got in. I'm grateful for my teacher here, David Leisner, for seeing something in me and giving me the opportunity. But it was very clear in studio class, and I just found a picture of me, and I'm looking, and I'm like this little kid, and I was nervous and scared, and I realized I had a lot of work to do.
Tom says it's a little better, but he's using headphones now, so it sounds great.
Good.
Lovely, Tom. That's great.
Thank you, Tom.
I wonder like what kind of audio we're being heard on. So I wonder if we should be jacking it up, but I don't want to. We got a classical guitar, so I don't want to like crank it so loud that it distorts. I don't know. We're learning. We're learning this, and we're learning stretches, and we're learning all this. So you weren't the best very young. So it seems to me then that you used that time that you must have fallen in like most of the pits, most of the sand traps.
Yeah, I mean, I had to learn to count out loud, and my teacher, David Leisner especially, was just like, "You're going to subdivide everything."
Did like ear training?
Solfege, conducting, having to sing and play without the guitar. That was amazing, and because it was all new to me. I felt like, oh my gosh, and I since found out that from classmates that everyone felt that way, to a certain extent.
Definitely me.
Yeah. I mean, it was 7 clefs, and but I learned so much, and it was so in depth. And right away when I got teaching jobs, I was using that. I mean, being able to sing for my students in solfege, in numbers, in letters, in la 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 la, all of that, and then playing, there's a certain level of mastery that came from that.
So you said you were lucky to have David Leisner. Is David Leisner still with us in the room? But
no, David is still kicking.
Okay.
He is at the Manhattan School of Music.
Okay.
Where he's been going back. He was going back and forth. And then in the mid 2000s, I think he
decided to
full time in New York, composer, guitarist.
Why was he particular? Sorry, I'm just an interrupter.
Go ahead.
Why was he particularly good for you in that stage?
Because he stopped me. I mean, he was like, you can't do anything until you do this exercise, and so I had to. So let's say beginning.
I want to see some of these exercises.
So let's say the beginning. I don't know. It's not the. Okay, this is a good piece. So you have an arpeggio. When I first started, I was learning coordination, so it wasn't always equal. So I had to sit there and ducka 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 ducka.
I'm sorry. Can you explain?
That's called subdividing. So when you play a quarter note, you count eighth notes, ducka, or 1 and 2 and ice cream, Aaron, Aaron. There's an in-between that allows me to keep the pulse. And you can do this with any note. So if I'm playing eighth notes, I count 16th notes. So 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1E and
What about a metronome?
Oh, I had to use a metronome too, because
Okay.
in the beginning, I couldn't even count straight.
Okay.
I had to learn, it was coordination, 1 and 2 and
Okay,
3.
so the beginning, let's go back to the beginning. What was that exercise that you had to do? Can
I
you do it
had
again?
to subdivide everything. So I would go through a piece and I have to count out loud 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. But if it wasn't equal, he'd say, no, subdivide. Daka, 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 daka. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and.
So David Leisner recognized that you had like a fundamental flaw in your playing.
Yeah, I had no pulse.
You had terrible
I was
tone.
dead. No pulse.
Yeah. And was just like, we got to make sure that you agree with the rest of the
Right.
world that what time playing in steady time.
Well, and I think as a guitarist, as opposed to an orchestral musician, I played very passionately. I could go through solos. I could play Bach, but it was based on like, okay, eighth notes are faster than quarter notes, which are slower than 16th notes, and triplets are you just kind of smile and play.
Oh, you
through
could
it.
play early music. Okay, this makes sense.
So I had to, in essence, think geometry. I had to give proof that I knew exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, you gotta know the rules before you can break them.
And then he would say, okay, now do different groupings of something. And then he'd say, change it. Ti-ti-ta, 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 ta, ti-ti-ta, ti-ti-ta, ti-ti-ta.
And did you do this with a metronome? Or
Yeah, well, yes, yeah. I mean, and then everything with the metronome. I used to name my metronomes. I still have a metronome that has died, but it has lived so long with me that I cannot take it out of my travel case.
Can I tell you I don't own a proper metronome anymore?
You just use your phone.
It's on my phone. And I went through so many metronomes as a student. Actually here, and at least one, I believe the statute of limitations has passed. It's been more than 20 years. At least
I said never buy an expensive metronome because you're going to throw it. You're going to knock it off the stand.
I threw one out a window of the second or third floor of the Jordan Hall building at 30 Gainsborough Street. I threw it out the window onto Huntington Avenue, where it promptly got run over. It was, I believe it was like a DM10 or DM20, the Seikos.
Yeah.
And it looked like credit card sized, and I hated it because I had terrible time.
Well, I think all of us do to a certain extent. I don't know anyone who likes metronomes in the beginning.
In the beginning,
I love metronomes now. Now I'm like,
yeah, I have a real mental issue. I love a good metronome.
yeah, and if anything, how we use a metronome, it's not just individual click, 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 which you can do, and then now eighth notes, click, 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 and then you go, okay, quarter notes, click, click. And then you can do half notes. You can adjust it. You can put it on off beats. I do this with students. I just made a student do this. So in the tremolo, we talk about repeated notes. So right now I'm doing thumb, ring, middle, index.
Slow it down.
P-A-M-I. Pulgar, annulo, medio, indicio.
That wasn't slowing it down. That was just making it more esoteric.
P-A-M-I. So I'm just doing one string, and I play each of my fingers, not my pinky, right now. And so I sit there, and this over time, it should sound consistent. Think of
Even.
yes, even. It could be. This is our illusion of sustain. I like to think of a fountain. I remember going into Cordoba and seeing a fountain, and when the water shoots out and it looks like a solid line, but it's little not vessels, but little water droplets.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine here. But the exercise is you have a metronome on your thumb. That's
Sorry,
right.
the exercise, is this a David Leisner thing again? No. Oh,
This is me.
this is for some. Oh, so you have another exercise.
Yeah, this is another.
Wait,
Go ahead.
This exercise, what is the point?
Tremolo, and to improve our tremolo, to keep it even, and to work with the time. So you have a metronome.
Okay, can you?
Yes.
Because
you have a funny name for it? I can
I'm going to be a dumb student for a minute. Can you go back to your piece, the honey cake?
Yeah.
That had tremolo in it. Can you just give them an example of the tremolo in
This is slow. I played it. So P-A-M on my thumb.
P,
Thumb
A,
is
P. Why is it P?
because it's Spanish, pulgar.
Okay.
And so the thumb is playing another line. So
Anybody please ask questions if you have questions. I'm asking the questions I would ask if I were in the chat.
so my thumb is doing one thing, and my fingers are playing the top line, a melody line.
That's the tremolo.
That's the tremolo.
Okay.
So for the exercise, before you get to a piece, you should have the idea of the technique, so you can add it to the technique. So what I like to do is I take the right hand, the pattern is thumb, ring, middle, index. Thumb, ring, middle, index.
Is that a
Standard, this is a standard pattern, not a flamenco pattern. It can be any pattern. Technically, tremolo just means repeated notes.
I'm sorry. Thumb,
Ring,
ring.
middle, index. Think about how you tap your fingers. You go from pinky to thumb.
Yeah.
Try going the other way. Thumb, index, middle, ring. It's very awkward.
I have to move my wrist.
Yeah. So it's a natural. Remember, the guitar has a bit of a folk element to it.
Yeah.
So what I do is I play my metronome and I make that my thumb. And then I say, oh, I've done that 5, 10 times, it's even. Ring finger gets the click. A. And then M finger. So every finger gets to feel like the firstborn child. Because they all get to start it. And then you have index finger. And so this is how I use a metronome to teach my students that all your fingers are independent. It's not, we're not rolling our fingers. We're independently, they're just very closely timed. This is an exercise number 10. There's a lot of stuff we can do before that.
All right. Let's use this. You prepared like another piece that you were going to perform.
That also has tremolo.
That also has tremolo. So I wonder if we can hear that piece, and then can you take us through some of the exercises, like really specific exercises that you used to learn this piece?
Do you want me to play first or talk about it first?
Well, what's the name of the piece?
Una limosna por el amor de Dios, an alm for the love of God by Augustin Barrios.
And this is a crazy famous, every classical guitarist knows this.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we listen to it first, and then we'll dig into some of the technical aspects. So let me switch over. I'm going to turn off our talking microphones. All right. was beautiful.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful piece of music.
Thank you.
All right, I'm all relaxed now.
That's a guitar. See? It's why I can write a meditation. It's like the guitar has this magic ability to just...
Well, so I'm gonna be a pain in the
Okay.
neck, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna go hard on
Yeah,
this.
please.
This is the music for that, right?
This is part of it, yes.
This-
Something I put together.
And you sing this. You show up. You're like, all right, I gotta learn this barrios, and I gotta start learning it. I mean, the first 12 bars, which I'm gonna use my fancy little thing here. The first 12 bars in here. Oh, wrong color. Let me get a different color on that. The first 12 bars, and right here. Oh crap! I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. First 12 bars and right here.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ink on the page.
Yeah.
How do you start learning? Like, what's the very first thing you do when you get this piece? The very first thing you're like, I gotta learn Augustine's new piece. What do you do?
I put all the music in front of me. If I have sheet music, I look through it, check the key, check the time signature.
All right, what key are we in?
What are we in? E minor.
E minor, right? It looks like E major, but it's the minor, right?
And then I look at the first opening. Now, in this thing that I just put up for you, I didn't put any fingerings, I didn't put any string designations, because I could play that first measure in many different places. That's E, B, G, G, B, B. I could do that. That's completely different.
So how do you choose?
Well, then I look at the third measure and I go, well, there's a note up high. So I can't play the G on the first string. I could do, but I can't reach the E on the 12th fret. So what I look for is, okay, I have a G, my G on the third string, a B on the fourth string, and I use my ear and I go, wow, that's really beautiful. And it goes up a half step. And then our tremolo enters with the same bass notes. So if I give this to a student, or the first thing I would do is I would get rid of the tremolo completely. We have to learn the harmonies, we have to learn what's going on. It's not that you can't play the tremolo, but slowly going through the piece, you're going to want to kill yourself or the guitar, because that's one bar. No. Okay, you like that. Never mind. All right.
No,
I meant break the guitar. You're going to want to break the guitar. And you don't want to break the guitar. You want a guitar to be love, feel good, wonderful.
Okay.
And so
you're not gonna play the tremolo. Could you do me a favor? Could you play like the first few bars without the tremolo?
So if you look at towards the bottom, there's some dotted half notes. What third, fourth, fifth, sixth system. Those.
We're looking around here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That is all of the harmonies of the first 6 bars or 7 bars. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and sorry, there it is. 2 and 3 and 1. That's the opening. And so I would we have to learn that. And so I would play, can I play all those 4 notes at once? Yes, I can. And I have to figure out the fingerings.
One hand position that works. Do you guys call that framing? One hand frame or no?
No, you just took the word out of my mouth. Chord shape. So here's the chord shape. And then the second chord shape. Second chord shape, third, fourth, fifth.
And that chord shape allows you to arpeggiate without having to move your left hand
Right.
your own
It
way.
outlines all the notes. So
Okay.
if I only wanted, so then I would say, okay, here's that first chord shape. But what's written is, so I don't want to worry about tremolo. I just want to learn the notes and get the sounds in my ears. I would take that first measure and I just play it like 16th notes, thumb, finger. I'm just learning the left hand. And I'm doing thumb index or thumb middle or thumb ring. I'm not worried about my right hand yet.
Wait, but you have extra notes. No, I mean just not. Sorry, you're not just playing the eighth notes. You're playing 16th.
Right. I'm playing the bass line and the top line. So the thumb and the finger. And I'm, instead of playing 3 30-second notes on the top line, I'm just playing
one of them.
One.
Okay.
And that's, and once I've gotten that, oh, I get the pattern. My thumb is supposed to go 6th string, 4th, 3rd, 3rd, 4th, 4th, with fingers in between. Okay, let's do it thumb, middle, index.
Tom says it's beautiful.
Thank you, Tom.
Tom, Tom. How do you know Tom without
Tom
giving
is
too much information?
Long time ago, former student of mine who is on the Cape and is just good-hearted soul and good player, and him and his wife are lovely people.
I love former students. I mean, I like current students, but former students, I don't have to be so careful. I have a bunch of former students coming to my wedding in October. It's great.
I'm not even a student, but I'm learning from you all the time.
All right, so back to this. So you now have all the 16th.
Right. If we have the chord shapes, once we have the chord shapes.
So you just skipped over getting all the eighths.
Yeah. I said, let's just... Okay, great. You've done it one finger. Now do it with 2. They're triplets now. I'm not worried about what's written. I know the notes there. I know that's the end point. But I practice all of these variations to get it deeper into my thick skull. And so, I just did thumb, middle, index. What about thumb, ring, index? Thumb, ring, and middle. I could use my pinky, but okay. Flamenco tremolo, or gypsy tremolo, thumb, index, ring, middle, index. They do quintuplets. That's a different world. But so I do all of these patterns so I can come back to the original and I go through. That's one way of practicing. So we learn our left hand. I am a big proponent of learning the left hand and then focusing on the right hand open strings. That's what we're doing. This is just learning the right hand technique. For clarinet, it'd be like learning to tongue without thinking about your fingers.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to practice.
Do one and the other, and then
Put it
syncing
together.
them.
Fail a lot, and do it again. You never got the fail.
I don't know about fail.
And then, here's our pattern. We have a 4-note pattern. Most guitarists fall into a problem of accenting the thumb. So I say, okay, let's change that. Let's do a 2-note pattern.
Tom, do you play this piece? I just want to know if you play this.
Tom, did you ever play this piece?
I mean, maybe since he stopped studying with you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know he played recuerdos. It's the most famous is Tarraga Recuerdos de la Alhambra, Memories of the Alhambra. And I've recorded it and do it with dancers. It's the same thing. And these are etudes. They are one technique throughout, but they are beautiful pieces.
But let's be clear. Like, there are some people who write etudes that they are not let's say, fun to play. Nobody
Do
wants to hear them.
Very much.
And then there are the Chopin etudes. There are these kinds of etudes
Right.
that everybody is just like, well, this is a piece. This is a piece of art.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
And
good.
I think when Chopin, Tárrega, Barrios write these great pieces, they get called etudes because it's one technique throughout the piece.
I see.
And that typically, if you look up what an etude is, it's okay, I'm going to do a technique. Maybe it's an arpeggio technique, and it's going to be throughout the whole piece. This or rhythmic technique. It
Huh.
can be many things, but it's usually one, maybe two techniques. Chopin takes it to a whole other level. I mean, there's nothing like that.
So let's say for this piece, the Barrios, I'm trying to get closer to a pronunciation. Yours is so
Barrios.
flamboyant.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there. So I noticed you have other things on this paper. I mean,
Yes.
it seems like you wrote a few things down for us. Are these other ways of practicing?
Yes.
So what are we doing here? Let me.
So we have, first we learn the chords,
Right. We know that.
and then if you're like me, there's a physical barrier. There's gaps. There's shifting on the guitar. I say like me, how I was. It would be okay. Now the next chord is here, and then breathe. The next chord is there, and the next chord is there, and it wouldn't be in time. And so I had some teachers from festivals and other places who were like, no, you got to put it in time. And one of the ways we do that is we play it wrong on purpose. So I call it groupings, but you could take all these chords, and the first example on the second to last line there is 16th note followed by a dotted eighth, which is hard to do, but in this piece, but I can show variations on it. So we would do the first chord very short and the second chord very long, giving us time to prepare. So short, long, breathe, short, long. And we always do it twice.
What about, I see you're going from first to second chord, from third to fourth chord,
Yeah.
from fifth to sixth. What about from the second chord to the third chord?
Well, the next exercise is long, short, long. So we have first chord, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
So you get them between
By
the two
doing
of them.
those two, short, long, and then taking the same chords and switching it to long, short, you get both. And
Okay.
so in essence, it's faster than I'm going to need to do it. That's the trick. When you can do this, if you practice this, it's faster than you'll actually have to move, so it actually becomes easier when you go to play it normally. The second part of this is I would say take three chords. Short, short, long. Short, short, long. Short, short, long. Short, short, long. And then inverse it. Long, short, short, long. Short, short, long. That changes because it's an extra chord. But let's say we did the beginning. That's without tremolo. I'm playing bass voice and the soprano voice together. I could do that, short, long. And that's what I actually have my students do until their tremolo is fast enough, because their left hand feels like it's going to fall off. If you're doing... that's just, your left hand is going to hurt, and that's where people get very tired. Yes.
First thing, I just banned my first user.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? What do you say?
They were in here trying to sell us viewers.
Oh.
you know, and
Well,
we're
that's exciting.
we're so exciting that we don't need to.
That you've a milestone.
Yeah, I
You know,
banned my
that's-
first
I'm
user.
glad I could be here for that.
Love it. Consular Blazer 8 Uka was.
And, you know, my initial reaction is like, oh my gosh, did I skip a chord? Like, see, that's the musician.
No.
Is like, did I make a mistake? Someone was.
I was like, should I time them out? I was like, no, they're selling stuff. I'll ban them.
Are they selling my music?
No, they're selling viewers, so bots. So, okay, this relates perfectly to a conversation I had with Amy Tsuchiya on stream weeks ago, where she's talking about the same issue with pianists: chord, and you got to get there. And I got into your camera space, and she was saying that she had that a big part of what she taught like intermediate-ish students was to think of that as choreography.
Yes.
That yes, you put your finger here, and yes, you put your finger here, but it's the choreography of how you get there.
Yes.
So it's not just that you have to be here and you have to be here, but what does that motion look like and how does that feel? So that seems what like
Very much.
you're practicing here.
I mean, a lot of left-hand practice is space, learning how to navigate the space. And I had a teacher who said you have to practice slowly. And one of the ways metaphor he gave me is imagine you're moving in honey. You know, how would your hand move in honey? You'd have the trails, it would be slow, but you would be moving in a very controlled manner. And so
I notice your wrist leads.
Yeah, well, it's faster than my arm. So the fingers
and then the hand comes.
But I'm prepared. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And so when I know I'm going from this to here, I want to get my pinky to the second string and my second finger to the third string and have my bar ready. So
sorry, your bar?
Bar chord, thank you, Mejia, is when our first finger, this is usually what gets everyone to quit, is your first finger has to go across all the strings or more than one. We call that a bar.
Okay.
And
it does what a capo does?
Yes, that's
okay.
Mejia. So Barre is how we spell it.
Would you have the little accent aigu or anything like that over the last E?
Barre. I don't know. I'm mixing up my languages at the moment. So
I don't know.
French, the Espanol. So what I will do sometimes is if I know this is my goal, I have to let's say this is the landing, this is the takeoff. I'll practice the landing in every position. I want that chord. I want to know the flavor everywhere, and I create the imprint or the shape of that chord. I could turn around and, Aaron, do you play guitar? Yeah, man, here's my chord. Here's my little E minor. There it is, right there.
Do you always use the first finger for bar chords?
Most. Actually, in this piece, there's one spot where I use my second finger on two strings. But I would say 99% of the time, it's the first finger. Some pieces will say your pinky. I find that very hard to do, and so I will do different types of stretches to not do that. And that's where everyone has to know their hand and what works.
Have you ever looked into how like string players practice shifts?
Yes. I love watching cellists play because
I used to love that.
Yeah, they're here. And actually, the technique that I learned with Dmitry Goryachev after conservatory is much more similar to a string player than it is to most guitarists. Most guitarists put the thumb in the middle and their fingers are around the thumb.
Like this?
Yeah, like a claw vibe.
Okay.
My thumb is to the outside the hand, and it's like a pillow for the fingers, which means I can reach, I adjust. It's not always static. It's never static, sorry. It's always fluid. But my thumb is always to the outside, like grabbing something. And this is not a good way to grab.
Tom says it was too difficult to play this piece, but he did play the Recuerdos.
Tom, I could have helped you on this one. No, this has left-hand difficulties that Recuerdos does not have. And so it is a very different piece. Tom played Recuerdos probably when he was like 22 years old, and Barrios didn't become popular till the late 70s. And so the, coming to it later always poses, when we compare to like, oh, this is hard. When something is new, that's a different hard than difficult. New versus difficult are people mix that up. Oh, my kids, they learn so easily. No, they don't. Kids do not learn easily. We're just more patient with them. We make them go to school every day. We make them have their lesson once, twice a week. We are persistent with them. Look how long it takes a kid to learn to speak. It takes a while. And then to mature, well, that's a whole other story. So I think what I have come away with, I did speech and debate in high school. I did a ton of sports. And
because you're from sports.
Yeah, that's where I came from.
You're from sports. That's what you said, right?
I'm from sports, Colorado. And when I started playing guitar, those were my history was, okay, I have to practice a lot. I don't just get to scrimmage, which is play through the game with friends and mess around. How do I practice? I have to practice passing. I have to practice, shifting from one string to another. And I would do this, and I have to do it 10 times. I have to do it 20 times.
Sorry, shifting like...
shifting positions.
Shifting like violinists talk about first and second position.
Yes, same exact thing.
Ballerinas talk about this.
And ours are visual because we base our positions on the fret.
What is first position on the guitar?
First position, it can also be open position, but first position is when your first finger is on the first fret. Even if I'm doing a chord... my first finger's on the first fret. That means
so when you switch to second position, you go from first. So your
first finger goes up a fret
on the second fret.
Yeah. So even if I'm doing something like 2, 3, 4, or way up here, but my first finger is reaching the F, that's first position. That's nuts, but you don't do that very often. But if I'm in my first finger, it controls what position I'm in.
I see.
That's the basis.
So
if I say B, second position, and if I say to my student, play B, 7th position.
How many positions are there on the guitar?
Well, how many frets?
I don't know. I'm a clarinet player. I barely 12. Know how many clarinets I have.
You get 13, 14 positions you can get away with. Once you get up high in the bass strings, you're so out of tune.
Can I hear something in like 14th position?
Let's see, what's something good?
Is that the 14th position, or would it be like off the... But you've got frets that go like almost to the tone hole.
Well, I can go all the way up.
But I mean, wouldn't the first finger be on the last fret?
14, well, this is 14th fret.
Oh, 15, 16, 17,
so
18,
19th is right here.
Do you ever play there?
Yeah, usually only in the top 2 strings. Because one, the way the guitar is built, there's not a fret for my 3rd string right here.
There's holes, but there are on the lowest 2 instruments.
But I'm so out of tune. So this is a B, which should be the same as that.
Is it out of tune because it's Pythagorean tuning?
Fixed tuning. I have fixed frets. So if I didn't have frets, if I had a fretless guitar, I could adjust the finger.
Like Future Man?
No, there are fretless guitars.
Is it?
It's really a thing. Yeah.
Who's the guy who plays?
Vic
Wooten.
Victor Wooten plays fretless bass.
Fretless bass. Okay.
And he's amazing. Yeah. And when you have a pickup with electronics, it's very different than acoustic. You can get pitches that you just can't get. You can play things. Most electric guitars are 24 frets. And I stop at 19. They have a much thinner string.
Fret envy. Do you feel bad about that?
I don't really. No, I don't.
You should. You should feel bad.
I get pedal envy. I get pedal envy of pianists who can play a chord and then hold the pedal, let it ring, and do that. Like no matter what I do, it's going to be a break. There's just nothing to be done unless I have an open string. And I can do that as a kind of, I can hide it. I can hide the
Yeah.
shift. There's like certain overtones. If I play an E chord,
Yeah,
my sixth
still
string
ringing.
is still ringing.
Sympathetic vibration?
Sympathetic vibrations.
Okay, where
So
one string isn't necessarily being plucked, but because it is ringing sympathetically because some other string was plucked.
exactly. So we use that. And it can also be a pain in the butt when you play a chord and you need it to stop and you forget. Oh, stop the A string. Like this is part of the practice.
Ah, interesting.
And there's various ways everything gets practiced. So we learn how to move our hand to get different colors.
That's the best color right there, not the first one.
You like this one?
I only want pretty. I grew up listening to Von Karajan's orchestras. I only wanted pretty all the time.
Well, and this is the thing. Like that's exactly why I play classical guitar. Steel string guitar, to me, sounds like this all the time because the strings are much higher tension. They have a truss rod, which is a metal bar that goes through the neck. The body is built for much higher tension. If I put steel strings on this guitar, it would evaporate. It would just.
Nice. I mean, I don't want to ruin your guitar,
no.
but I wouldn't mind seeing one.
That would be fun to watch, and maybe one day we can do a destruction thing. I hate destroying instruments, but it would be an interesting experiment. At what tension does the classical guitar?
Okay, I have a few topics written down.
Okay.
And I realized that between the two of us, we are both on tangents all the time, which I will try to remember for the future for myself. That I have to be thinking about the tangents. I'm learning how to get better at this. While this whole project is about like, let's take this community at NEC and let's get the thing that we do best with, which is educating, frankly, educating musicians, and send it out beyond our doors as far as we can. Something that I need to learn is to get better at this conversation, because frankly, you and I, if we have a couple of beers, we can do this for hours and hours.
I don't drink.
No, if Catherine's still watching, if your wife is still watching, he doesn't drink anything. I have questions because it's obvious that you've thought a lot about the teaching. You've thought not about just like what you need to learn, but how do you structure this? And I know from our discussions that you think a lot about, well, how do I get this student to learn this thing that they need to learn now? And how do we structure that? So what I'm wondering is, do you have a preference? Like, how do you pick your students? Like, because not all, you were talking about different teachers for different students and blah, 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 which tells me that, yes, there are teachers who are better for certain students. But how do you choose your students? Are they all auditioning for you and you're like, yes, yes, no, no, yes? It's like the Madeline Kahn looking at the eunuchs.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Ooh, yes.
Or like, how do you know if you're a good fit with a student as a teacher?
That's a wonderful question.
I know.
The prerequisite, the only prerequisite I have is that a student has to want to learn.
Okay, so they don't have to be good.
No, and I've been very lucky. I've had beginners who get it right away and they're like, boom. Most students come to me who are beginners having started on their own. They watch videos, they do tab, and they get to a point where they're like, wait a sec, what got me to this level is not going to get me to the next level. I need a teacher. And that is always awesome. I've had very advanced students, and every time learning how other people learn is kind of my job.
Yeah.
Figuring out okay, what does this student need now that will help him get to his goal? And some students, I want to get into a better program, a master's program. I have 6 weeks to do it. I have a year. I have 2 years. Everyone's different.
People who are thinking about serious musical study and performance careers.
And most of those students come in like, hey, I'm pretty good. I just need to get better. And with those students, what I try and do is say, okay, let's find out how you learn. Play for me. Where are the weak spots? What don't you like about your playing? Because you called me. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
And how can I fix that? Is it a reading issue? Is it a stylistic issue? Music, meaning it's in the music, the technique is there.
Yeah.
Is it a sound production? A lot of guitarists play for themselves. They make videos. That is not playing for a video. It's very different than playing in front of people.
Have you had, I mean, you're talking about students who want to learn and these, have you had students who are like very serious about the guitar, who are like, I want to have a career in playing the guitar, I want to, or at least I want to be, but they don't want to learn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've had that.
Well, they come in, they're like, just, give me a certificate type of thing.
Yeah.
And they don't know. Or they come in, they have, what happens a lot with guitar is we have kind of a standard repertoire and, they play it. And they're like, good, see, I can play it. Tell me I'm great. And I'm like, that's not how I work. And, it's learning, yes, here's the repertoire, but if it took you 5 years to learn these 3 pieces, that's not professional.
What about adults? Not adults, amateurs. What about amateurs who have no intent of having a career in guitar? I mean, if you're working with these very serious students, do you also, I mean, we met Tom.
Right.
I don't know, Tom could be soloing with an orchestra right now, but do you work with people who aren't like this?
I would say most of my students fall into that. Just in my teaching outside of conservatories, are the people who call me up and say, hey, I've played guitar a long time, I want a teacher, or I played a different style and I'd like to learn this style.
And they just love the guitar and they want to get better. And
they want to do it. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
I love it because, one, they can bring their life experience to learning. If a student, I have a wonderful student, Greg is great. If you're listening, Greg, you're great. He started almost from scratch with me. I mean, he did stuff on his own, played a little electric guitar, but reading, classical, no. But he's a math guy, he's an engineer. And so I can sit with him and use the metaphors and the practice. And he's scheduled his time where he has guitar. It's important for him. It's part of his life.
It's that wanting to learn, but it sounds like he has the love mixed in, so it's like a multiplier.
It's none of us, and I can't speak about you, Chris, because but for me, I have yet to meet a musician who learns as fast as they want.
No.
There are things that I'll be playing for years, and I go, oh, I finally got it. That, and I play every day.
Yeah.
And but if a student wants to get better on this, even if it's 20 minutes at the very beginning, that consistency, we make it a positive habit. With my private students, and I bring in some of my NEC students, we do a performance class once a month during the school year.
Yeah.
And they get to play for each other and meet people, because this is a very solo instrument. You can sit in a closet and play your guitar. You don't have to be in an orchestra to enjoy it.
You've seen the movie Christine? Do you know this movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
The kid.
Shove her in the closet and she comes out and everybody dies a bloody death. I just imagine the guitar version of Christine to come out with.
Well, the thing is, we can sit in the guitar and we can play, and it's so pretty. And it's like, oh, I'm in my little room. Maybe it's, a very small room and it sounds good. But when you get in front of people, hands shaking a little bit, and you have to project, that's a different animal.
Do you find, you mentioned this, like, your hand shaking. I have found, like, I love teaching the adults, frankly, because the love is there. Like, they already love playing. Or they don't love what they're doing, maybe, but they want to get better, and they love the instrument, they love music. I have found so many of our adult education students are trepidatious about studying with a serious musician. They're concerned that I'm not good enough. And like, have you seen that?
Well, it's true. No one's good enough. No.
But they're not like they're
Yeah,
not good enough to study with like a
right.
serious
And
teacher.
actually, when I get inquiries, it is often, I'm a beginner, do you teach beginners?
Yeah.
Or I'm an amateur, do you have room? And sometimes I don't have room. And I
Yeah.
say, I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with your level. I really look for those who love it.
Yeah.
I do expect, like for the people who are nervous, that's why I started this performance class, not as a public lesson, but as a public opportunity to
Yeah.
play for your peers. And the level of improvement is just.
And you're practicing performance.
I have to
practicing
practice
that skill.
performing.
Yeah.
Because things happen on stage that, or on streaming that I never planned on. And it's like,
Right.
oh, today is a different day. And that's what makes music so great. Recording is so new to music. That's a whole other tangent.
All right. Well, as we have to wrap up,
Yes.
throughout this stream, your website and your YouTube page have been popping up in the chat over and over and over and over again. So I want to encourage everybody to go there and watch these videos. I'm sure at the website you can also buy your many arrangements. You can buy the music, your own compositions. Where can people go hear you play soon? Like what's coming up? I feel like, have you seen this the Hot Wings, what is it, when First We Feed Hot Ones?
Yes.
Yeah, at the end he's like, tell people what you got going on. You're like,
Yeah.
I want to know where people can come enjoy you
Yes.
playing the guitar live.
The next, September's busy in the New England and Northeast, I should say. I'll be doing an event for the amazing Laura Kuhn, who's the former director of the John Cage Trust, a retirement party. I'll be playing in New York for that on September 9th.
In New York.
In New York.
Where in New York?
I don't know where this place is.
Stephen G says, thank you. Great encouragement. Thank you, Stephen. Please feel free to ask questions and come back. Follow these accounts. When we move to the NEC accounts, we'll drag you over there too. But so where in New York are you playing on September 9th?
It's on my website, alcguitar.com. I don't know the venue. It's a benefit for the Cage Trust, and I've been
so go to Aaron's website, and if you're in New York, they can come.
Yeah, they have to buy a ticket. September 10th, I'll be playing a Latin American music concert in Hingham, Massachusetts, which is just south of Boston. September,
and they can go on
that's
your website.
on my website as well.
Okay.
And then September 13th, I'll be on Cape Cod and Wellfleet.
Ooh.
September 28th, I'll be performing with the amazing poet Charles Coe in Cambridge at the
Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Cambridge, Massachusetts.
What are you playing with him?
We do a program called Words and Music. So we find poetry by him and others, and then we tie it together with music. So he has writings of John Cage. I play Cage. It's awesome.
I'm sensing a pattern. Can they go to your website?
Yes.
Okay, go to your website.
And then the last concert in September is on the 30th at King's Chapel. I'll be playing some contemporary
King's Chapel,
Boston.
Boston? Okay.
I keep talking as if everyone's in Boston.
Nope.
I'll be playing some lullabies written for me that leads to Newport, Rhode Island in October. So it's a busy September.
It's great.
And I'll be out in Oregon and Denver later this year.
That's amazing. So as this performing artist, I know that you're teaching a lot. So if they want to teach,
lesson,
if people want a lesson, I'm gonna say, as I hit my microphone, I'm gonna say, email us at ee@necmusic.edu. That's the letters E as in E.E. Cummings, but EE at necmusic.edu, and let us know you want to take a trial lesson with Aaron. We will see what we can schedule.
And it should be noted, you don't have to be registered in the conservatory as a conservatory student. This is for young, old, anyone in between. I have an MIT students. I've had people from all walks of life.
Right. This is to our expanded ed program,
EE, that's
Expanded Education. That's the E and the E of EE at necmusic.edu. Expanded Education, it's for the community. This is not, you're not getting a bachelor's or a master's. Or so from, what's the youngest kid that plays guitar? How old?
Youngest I've taught or currently?
That just can pick up a guitar and play? 4, 5, 12? 5. 5. So if you're between 5 and 105,
Yeah.
you know, we can fit you in. If you're older than 105, we'll talk. I don't believe Aaron has a problem with 105-year-olds.
No, as long as you're not dead, it's not too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had someone write to me saying, when is it too late to start classical guitar?
No.
It is not. It all depends on your goals and how you what your life to be. My life, I wanted to be musical. That was it. Music and life, life and music. And I've played weddings, I've played concerts in Russia and Europe and Taiwan, and I can do completely complex music and the simplest. It's music. And I think life is really beautiful with music. So I think everyone should have music in their lives. However, come to concerts, go to concerts, do whatever you need to do.
I think that's a great place to stop. It's also 4:59. So thank you, Aaron. Thanks so much.
Thank you all. Thank you, Chris, for having me.
Thanks for everybody that watched, and we'll see you next week. All right, bye.